Okay, the background of developed countries, Singapore and Japan. General background of Singapore. Singapore was confronted with severe unemployment, poor infrastructure, and housing shortage. But nowadays, Singapore is ranked as one of the most developed cities. And Singapore is high income economy with a gross national income of 54,000 US dollar per capita in 2017. And the country provides one of the world's most business friendly regulatory environment. And it ranked the best country in the world in human capital development. Okay, socio-economic information of Singapore. Singapore has managed to achieve almost full employment, and it transformed a country with corruption to a top 5 ranking in Transparency International. The subdivision with cheap foreign labor and a high prevalence of crony capitalism has led to an anti-competition business environment, and it has ridden down wages and created discontented populace, and it caused Singapore to have the lowest wage share of 42.5% among developed countries, and the price so tremendously causes Singapore became one of the most expensive cities and the high income equality among its residents. Okay, the regional blocks of Singapore. Singapore foreign policy priority in maintaining security, political, and economic stability in the region. It has diplomatic relations with more than 180 sovereign states, and as one of the 5 founding members of Asia, Singapore maintains memberships in other regional organizations such as United States, Commonwealth, and etc.
Next, I will explain about the general background of Japan. So, Japan is an island nation. It's located at the eastern tip of Asian continent and surrounded by the sea, and its terrain is extending from the north to the south. And also, Japan is located at the eastern end of the Great Land of Eurasia. And the name of the name for the Japanese state is Nihon, and the term on Nihon is was used by the first time by the Korean scholar in 7th century who visited Japan. And also the constitution followed by the polity, and the king is an heritage monarchy. That means that the Japanese is a symbol of national unification. And the constitution also has freedom of religion, and there is no national religion. Next is the socio-economic information of Japan. So for the socio-economy in Japan, Japan has the world's third largest economy by the GDP after the US and China. And because of this happened because of the advanced technology from the Japan. And Japanese export include like automobile, office electronic, transportation equipment, food. Next is the regional bloc of Japan. So for the regional bloc of Japan, the Japan International Building and Housing Industry Association has gathered and shared a lot of a broad range of information with related countries in order to collaborate as an industry in other countries closely. So the goal is to promote the trade and also cultivate a healthy relationship with the other country in the construction and in housing industry, and also to promote friendship and goodwill with the country. Next, I will explain about the system of administration in Singapore. So, for the government system in Singapore is modeled after the Westminster system that consists of executive, judiciary, and also legislature. And the president will appoint the prime minister who get the majority parliament, whether you want to be a prime minister or not. And then the other cabinet also can be appointed from the members of parliament. And the parliament is for 5 years from the date its first meeting. And then next is the education system. The education system, the school system in Singapore consists of 6 years of primary school and then 5 years of secondary school and then to higher education level. So at the end of the high school, the student need to sit for the GCE or level to determine the type of the post-secondary that they can take. So many also attend for the vocational institute. Next is the healthcare system. Healthcare system in Singapore is committed to ensure the healthcare to remain competitive and also to help the patient with money laundering their medical bills. For example, like medicine. Next is the latest information about the COVID-19. The issue is about the issue of the workers commute daily by road. And Malaysia and Singapore has taken stricter rule to make to this issue. And but the most important is about the precaution of the COVID-19. So for the impact of the COVID-19 is about the economy of Singapore decline. So the economy of Singapore declined for 41.2%, and the economy of Singapore has affected the low wage earner that because of due to job losses. So for the job losses, also the Singapore also provides some help like PWM to increase the workers' salary to improve skill and also productivity.
Hi and Assalamualaikum. My name is Najha binti Abdul Jabbar, magic number 262515. I would like to present about government system of Japan. Japanese government is a parliamentary constitutional monarchy. Executive, judiciary and legislature is the three division of the government. Japanese executive members are Emperor Naruhito as the chief of state and Prime Minister Yoshihide Suga as the head of the government. The House of Representatives and the House of Councillors made up a national diet that's called legislature. The Congress has 480 seats and the Senator has 242 seats. Judicial branch in Japan is divided into two, which is highest courts and subordinate courts. Supreme Court consists of Chief Justice and 14 judges. 8 High Courts, 50 District Court and 438 summary courts are the subordinate court. Primary and secondary school in Japan is based on 633 system. The system involves of 6 years in elementary school, 3 years in upper secondary school and 3 years in lower secondary school. The healthcare system in Japan is based on statutory health insurance system. Everybody pay 30% or less of the cost of medical procedure. On COVID-19, the Japanese government seems to prioritize the business as usual and skip the kinds of restriction introduced by other countries on personal movement. Japan is moving rapidly towards Society 5.0. All the items will be linked in IoT technology. A personal mobile offers individuals to travel freely within 1 mile radius. Environmental issue in Japan, from waste management to global warming. Japan cumulative emission of greenhouse gases reached 1.2 billion tons in fiscal 2018. Criminal issue in Japan, reported number of the penal code violation was 748,559 cases in 2019. Crime using computer network was gradually diversified.
Next will be comparison between Singapore and Japan. Country background. The population of Japan is 20 times bigger than Singapore, and its surface area is 500 times bigger than Singapore. And purchasing power and standard living cost. According to the statistic, we can see that living cost in Japan is higher than Singapore. However, the local purchasing power in Singapore is stronger than in Japan. Next, income inequality. Income gap in Singapore is significantly more unequal compared to Japan, and the Gini coefficient rate of Japan decreased more significantly after accounting taxes and transfer than Singapore. And Japan's government might have done a better job containing income inequality through taxation and redistribution compared to Singapore government.
Next is the comparison system of administration in Singapore and Japan. So, for the government system in Singapore and Japan, from the aspect of branch of executive. So, for the Singapore, the leader of the political party that won the majority seat in the parliament will be the prime minister. So the president will be asked whether you want to be prime minister or not. So for the Japan, the cabinet will be appointed by the prime minister. The majority in the House of Representatives will usually will become the prime minister. So for the aspect for the branch of legislature of the Singapore Parliament in Singapore only have one house, and the member of Parliament MPS will be voted by the general election, and the Parliament usually for 5 years from its date for its first meeting, and for the general election will be held within 3 months of the dissolution of the Parliament. So for the Japan legislature named as Japanese Diet. So for the Japanese has two houses. There is first is House of Representatives and second is the House of Consider. For House of Representatives has 480 seats and is usually for 4 years term. And the House of Consider is 242 seats and usually for 6 year terms.
Comparison between healthcare system and educational system in Singapore and Japan. Healthcare system in Singapore is based on government subsidies of MediSave, MediShield, MediFund and ElderShield and consists of 80% off, while Japan healthcare system is based on statutory health insurance system and 30% off. Educational level in Singapore is based on 6 years in primary school and 5 years in secondary school and higher education level, while in Japan it's based on 6 years in elementary school and 3 years in upper secondary school and lower secondary school.